Hey, my name is Moodzi and I will hold back my own strength against you by transforming to my most powerful form. I got that power levels, a time in the Dragon Ball series where the story was driven by mathematical arbitrary statistics rather than actual narrative. Now, I have no issue with power levels, as they were used as a writing tool for the author Akira Toriyama to convey how strong one character is compared to another. It was an efficient way back in the day to tell you why someone like Kui or Dodoria would shit their pants for Vegeta, while Vegeta would be reluctant to face the Ginyu Force. This in itself provided the reader or viewer to comprehend certain events and rationalize the defeat and struggle that characters go through. Dragon Ball Z utilized this method to the fullest and strived to engineer this environment of raising the stakes by giving characters endless waves of transformations and power-ups. It was like Toriyama injecting his Dragon Ball manga with steroids, making his show the shonen action benchmark that most animes would strive to become.
I know what you are now. You're not an ordinary Saiyan, you're a Super Saiyan!
Of course, with the anime progressing to where characters started to have power levels of millions in the Frieza arc, Akira Toriyama felt that the concept of giving numerical numbers to represent character strength became quite redundant, and just meaningless at this point. I mean, what the fuck does 1 million battle power really means, other than it's really high? I mean, yes, you could use those numbers to calculate feats, but other than that, it's really not something you could expand on. It's not like this is a Hunter x Hunter where character possesses different types of ki, or rather nen, and every type is used differently. But regardless, power levels became irrelevant after the Frieza arc. However, one thing remained consistent, and that the story still provided a clear power scale. You know which character is stronger than the other, so when Android 18 beat Vegeta, you know that nobody else would stand a chance against her. This gives you, the viewer, the ability to recognize the stakes and what's on the line. This gives the scene more meaning and tension, and you will realize since the Super Saiyan isn't enough, you will need an upgrade. I mean, imagine if Vegeta got destroyed by 18 but then Yamcha comes out of nowhere and fights equally against her. That will definitely make you raise an eyebrow, to say the least. And that's one of the weaknesses that Dragon Ball Super suffers from, because while power levels became extinct, the power scale that is supposed to give you the sense of what's at stake has gone to shit. And please don't give me that power levels are bullshit argument that only unoriginal repetitive 12-year-olds use to dismiss any sort of argument against poor writing. I guess why waste your time and train for months to years with the most knowledgeable and powerful being in Universe 7 when you got a nice place to farm for XP like Android 17 here? I know what many of you might be thinking right now, that Goku must be holding back because he has God Ki control. That's a terrible argument, and here's why. If Goku wanted to hold back, he wouldn't use his ultimate transformation, because that defeats the whole purpose of holding back. Goku still has Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3, so what's the point of going blue if you're using less power than your previous form? Furthermore, this scene effectively does one of two, either that 17 is as strong as a god without any actual reasoning besides training, or that Super Saiyan Blue is nerfed, which either ways makes Super Saiyan Blue look really weak. Like, don't get me wrong, I without a doubt appreciate the fact that Dragon Ball Super is valuing strategy in this tournament. In fact, it's very progressive. However, it becomes less impressive when you're doing it on the expense of fodderizing one of the most prestigious transformations in the Dragon Ball franchise, God Mode, something that Vegeta would have never had obtained had he not put his pride aside, and trained his body and mind in utilizing a whole different world of power, and seeing that power challenged almost weekly by everyone really hinders the value of this form. I mean, remember when fake Bukake Vegeta thingy in base form completely fodderized Gotenks Super Saiyan 3? And don't even say it's filler, Goku goddamn references him when Vegeta fought Goku Black. And this is the issue here. The story is incredibly inconsistent with how strong characters are, and I'm not saying it from the perspective that I want the Saiyans to only be the strong ones. No, hell no. I want every character to shine, but only when the show cares enough to provide a good, concise, and logical narrative. I know Dragon Ball Z had its moments of inconsistencies, but it's done on a much more tolerable intervals. Seeing Krillin challenging Goku's blue form, on the other hand, only causes confusion and takes away the future drama, because aside from it being a cool moment for Krillin, it's pretty illogical. and there is no statement to back up why Krillin could challenge that Super Saiyan Blue Kamehameha aside from Android 18 saying he's been working out in his little gym. Like, I can't even begin with how nonsensical this is. Even if Goku was holding back, you'd expect there would be a better logical reasoning to why Krillin could manifest enough ki to stop that beam. But no, all Krillin had to do is purchase some weights. And he could have avoided every single death in the show. So fuck Master Roshi's training, screw God's training, and who cares about Guru's power up? Cause you know what, kids? All you need is your goddamn gym membership card. You see, this is a reoccurring theme in Dragon Ball Super. The power-ups don't have any proper build-up, which takes away from a proper payoff. There is no viewer satisfaction because the series doesn't care enough about earning its own narrative. It's just lazy. In one of my older videos, I made a similar topic discussing why Trunks' new transformation doesn't work and why Gohan's does. And it all has to do with laying the groundworks, and why a character earns its power up and another doesn't. And this has nothing to do with Dragon Ball Z being an older series, and I'm just being blinded by nostalgia. It's just that even when characters earn power ups, they're often justified with actual reasoning. I won't repeat what I said in that video, so I strongly urge you to watch that one, and you will know why I'm okay with Vegeta's rage boost against Beerus and why Trunks getting exposed to God Ki isn't a proper way to earn a transformation. I mean, the show doesn't even tell you how he achieved it. Not even Goku or Vegeta acknowledges this moment of rage, which ironically makes it even more infuriating and frustrating for me. Now allow me to backtrack to a previous point I made. I have no problem with Krillin, Piccolo, or even Yamcha to get huge gains, and have people wank them off and make YouTube videos circle jerking on how strong a character is. However, the problem remains that it's devaluing previous elements of the story. Take Krillin's death against Super Buu for instance. That scene had so much power, because the moment Krillin decided to charge off against Super Buu is the moment he actually committed suicide. Krillin knew he stood no chance. He knew no one else did, but he did it anyways. He sacrificed himself for his friends and family. Yes, the outcome still remained with Buu eating everyone, but he did it nonetheless. It's an act of bravery that speaks volumes on what Krillin would do for his family. Out of all the deaths that Krillin had, this is actually my absolute favorite. But of course comes Dragon Ball Super to ruin it with BS like this. And I'm not saying Krillin is as strong as Super Buu here, because I know that Goku was not trying to kill his best friend. Let's be real. However, it still makes you mad because Krillin is apparently a lazy piece of shit. Because again, Dragon Ball Super doesn't give the viewer any sort of payoff with these characters having these power-ups, with the exception of Goku and Vegeta, whom are constantly training and pushing themselves in many different ways. Again, this is not a wank to Goku and Vegeta, because likewise with the treatment of Goku and Vegeta, I want to see with the other characters. Power scaling is important. It sets up the stakes, raises the tension, and even connects to the viewers. When the viewers of the Dragon Ball fanbase are constantly fighting amongst each other on a weekly basis, that means there is something wrong. Yeah, sure, some fans can be dense and unreasonable, but the story can't expect the fans to explain what's going on. That's not your job. It's the story's job to explain itself to you, not the other way around. And yes, although some shows manage to make the fans fill in the blanks to understand the message, but with Dragon Ball Super it's rather difficult. You can't expect everyone to think like you and manage to come to the same logical conclusion as you. But when the show manages to explain itself in full detail, there will be no more pointless theories, no more headcanons, just the truth. And guys, I'm not here trying to challenge you to come up with headcanons, because trust me, I myself can also come up with a million excuses to justify why something is the way it is. However, it means nothing unless the show itself makes a proper explanation that doesn't directly contradict previous established story elements. And throwing DBZ under the bus by saying, hey, remember that one time Z fucked up, is also not a proper counter argument. It's just an excuse that just makes you look stupid. Dragon Ball Z was never a perfect series, and I don't expect Dragon Ball Super to be perfect either. In fact, nothing is perfect, but I expect the same if not better consistency with the power scale. This is why I prefer the Dragon Ball Super manga, because aside from a beautiful art, the story tries much harder to convey a more precise scale with the powers. But I guess apparently we live in an age where everyone is so sensitive against criticism, and it's easier to defend something and make excuses rather than fully analyzing something and calling it out like it is. If you guys enjoyed my unfiltered and uncensored opinion, then follow my Twitter. I'm quite responsive there. You get to see me discuss the videos I'm working on before I upload them. But overall, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and can understand where I'm coming from. So please leave a comment, tell me why you agree or disagree. But other than that, remember to like the video, comment, and subscribe. Peace.